movie will take that $50,000 check and give it to Kevin Levrone. And that award goes to competitor number 18, Kevin Levrone. And they will present the certificate, the silver Sandow medal, the silver Olympia medal, and a check for $55,000 to Kevin Levrone.
What you just saw was Kevin Levrone's 4 top 2 placings at the Olympia, losing to 2 of the best Olympia champions that bodybuilding has ever seen. Kevin, one of the most famous bodybuilders of all time, holding 2 Arnold Classic wins and numerous top 2 finishes at the Olympia, is no stranger to success. With more than 20 professional IFBB Pro wins, spanning a competitive career of more than 10 years, many fans place him very highly when it comes to the legends of this sport. It should be no surprise then that many have considered him an uncrowned Olympian, meaning that he should have won the Olympia at least one time and brought home a coveted Sandow trophy. While there have been arguments for Kevin winning Olympias where he placed outside of the top 2, the main debates tend to center around these 4 years: 1992, 1995, 2000, and 2002. In each of these years, Levrone stood on the brink of victory, finishing second at the world's most prestigious bodybuilding contest. Some argue that he was unfairly overlooked, while others point to the sheer dominance of champions that he competed against. Was he robbed of his title at these 4 competitions, or was he fairly placed? Let's get into it. In 1992, Kevin made his Olympia debut and immediately made a strong impression. He brought arguably the best conditioning of his career, great aesthetics, and considerable size. His incredible symmetry, not yet changed by the infamous near-career-ending pec tear, contrasted starkly with that of the champion, Dorian Yates. Dorian had a few things going for him that Kevin didn't, namely his back. Even at this early stage of his career, Yates possessed immense density, grainy conditioning, and width from behind, which overshadowed his subpar shape and flow. This Olympia was unique by the fact that the reigning Mr. Olympia, the 8 times champion Lee Haney, had decided to retire the year prior. This left the title up for grabs, meaning that it was anyone's game, not just Kevin or Dorian's. You had legendary competitors like Lee Labrada, Sean Ray, and Mohammed Benaziza, who all wanted to win that title. Of course, Dorian and Kevin ended up placing first and second respectively, opening up the debate on whether or not Kevin should have won. Now, in my opinion, I believe that this Olympia was very close. Like I said, Kevin had stellar conditioning, rivaling that of Dorian's, and combined it with beautiful lines and aesthetics. Dorian, while not as statuesque, had no visible injuries, granite-like conditioning, and, although over-dieted, a considerable amount of mass. These characteristics gave Yates an undeniable advantage in my opinion, a common theme when looking at the competitors that he was able to beat. Anyways, while Dorian ultimately emerged victorious, it is my belief that Kevin was not robbed at this Olympia. Both competitors brought their best packages to the stage, and while Kevin Levrone's conditioning and aesthetics were outstanding, Yates' overall package, including his back development and conditioning, ultimately secured him the title. In 1995, Kevin Levrone once again entered the Mr. Olympia stage with determination and a physique that was arguably among the best of his career. Bringing impeccable conditioning, aesthetics, and considerable size, Levrone stood as a formidable contender to the coveted Olympia title. However, his journey was not without formidable competition, particularly from the reigning champion, Dorian Yates. Unlike in 1992, Levrone now faced Yates at the peak of his dominance, with the British bodybuilder showcasing unparalleled back development, grainy conditioning, and so much overall mass. This posed a significant challenge for Levrone, as he sought to dethrone the reigning champion and claim the Sandow Trophy for himself. The 1995 Olympia was unique in its own right, with a lineup of legendary competitors all vying for bodybuilding's most prestigious title. Despite the formidable competition, including contenders like Flex Wheeler, Nasser Al-Sambadi, and Sean Ray, just to name a few, Levrone remained focused on delivering his best physique on the stage. In my opinion, 1995 was another one of those closely contested battles between Levrone and Yates. While Levrone brought stellar conditioning, aesthetics, and overall symmetry to the stage, Yates' sheer mass and conditioning were formidable. Many believed that Dorian's days were numbered following his 1994 showing, where he had a bicep tear and poor stomach control. However, Dorian was able to shut up all the speculation in 1995. Ultimately, while Levrone once again fell short of claiming the Olympia title, I believe that he was not robbed at the 1995 Olympia. Both he and Yates brought their A-game to the stage, and while Levrone's aesthetic package was very impressive, Yates' overall dominance, more mass, and better conditioning secured him another victory. In 2000, Kevin returned to the Olympia stage with a renewed determination to claim the Sandow Trophy. Bringing a physique that epitomized muscularity, symmetry, and conditioning, Levrone stood as a formidable challenger to the reigning champion, Ronnie Coleman. Unlike in previous years, the 2000 Olympia presented a unique opportunity for Levrone, with Coleman facing heightened scrutiny and speculation surrounding his conditioning and the ability to retain the title, as all reigning champions do. Levrone seized this opportunity to showcase a great rendition of himself, combining size, aesthetics, and stage presence in a bid for Olympia glory. Now, the 2000 Olympia lineup featured a mix of seasoned veterans and up-and-coming challengers, including Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, Dexter Jackson, and Jay Cutler, who were all fighting for bodybuilding's ultimate title. Despite the formidable competition, Levrone remained focused on delivering a performance that would cement his legacy in bodybuilding history. In my opinion, the 2000 Olympia wasn't a super contested battle between Levrone and Coleman. Levrone's physique displayed remarkable maturity and refinement at this stage, with his trademark aesthetics and symmetry earning him widespread acclaim from fans and judges alike. His stage presence was also electrifying, commanding attention with every pose and movement. That being said, his quads had begun to shrivel up, and they were considerably smaller than in years prior. Additionally, his overall size and conditioning, while impressive alone, were nowhere near that of Ronnie's. Ronnie's sheer mass and conditioning proved to be too difficult for Levrone to overcome, with him ultimately taking his third second-place finish. While he was able to present a much more pleasing physique, possessing the ability to control his midsection properly, Ronnie was just too big, too freaky, and too dominant. In 2002, Kevin Levrone returned to the Mr. Olympia stage for what would be his final appearance as a real threat to the competition. Possessing a physique that showcased years of hard work, dedication, and experience, Levrone now stood as a beacon of excellence in the bodybuilding world. The 2002 Olympia marked another opportunity for Levrone to etch his name on the walls of bodybuilding history, facing off once again against the reigning champion Ronnie Coleman, and a deep lineup of competitors. Guys like Gunter Schlierkamp, Chris Cormier, Lee Priest, and Marcus Rule, to name a few, were all real contenders for the title going into this Olympia. Moreover, a guy like Jay Cutler, who placed second the year prior, decided to skip this Olympia, leaving that second place spot up for grabs. As he stepped onto the stage to perform his routine, you could immediately see that this was a good but not great Kevin. His quads had only further deteriorated, and he wasn't super conditioned either, at least compared to his past. He did have amazing posing, his trademark symmetry and clean lines, and impressive size alone. However, you could tell that time was catching up to him. Despite facing the challenges of aging and perhaps not being at his absolute peak, Kevin Levrone's presence on the Olympia stage still commanded respect. His experience and charisma shone through his posing routine and reminded everyone of his undeniable legacy in the sport. However, the competition at the 2002 Olympia was very fierce, with Ronnie Coleman once again proving to be a dominant force for Kevin to deal with. Ronnie wasn't at his absolute best either, with many arguing that this was his worst Olympia winning version. That alone should be enough evidence for people to claim that Kevin was robbed here. However, if someone should have won in place of Ronnie, it wouldn't have been Kevin. If anything, a guy like Gunter should have beat both of them, meaning Kevin could have placed lower than second place. While Ronnie was definitely off, I believe that Kevin was not quite at the level needed to claim the Olympia title that year. Despite his incredible legacy and undeniable talent, Levrone's physique in 2002 lacked the same level of conditioning and refinement that he once had in the previous years. Although he still possessed impressive size, symmetry, and stage presence, it was clear that time had taken its toll on his physique. Additionally, while Ronnie Coleman may have not been at his absolute best in 2002, he still presented a rather impressive package that was very difficult for any competitor to surpass. Even in his slightly off conditioning package, Coleman's sheer mass and overall dominance on the Olympia stage made him a rather deserving champion, in my opinion. Based on the analysis of Kevin Levrone's performances at the Mr. Olympia competitions in 1992, 1995, 2000, and 2002, it is evident that each year brought its own set of challenges and opportunities for the legendary bodybuilder. Despite consistently finishing in second place, Levrone's impact on the sport of bodybuilding cannot be overstated. Ultimately, though, I believe that Kevin was not robbed at any of these competitions, as the competitors that claimed the titles were just flat out better. While debates may continue to rage over whether or not Levrone was robbed of the Olympia title in these years, it's important to recognize the incredible legacy he has left on the sport of bodybuilding. Despite never claiming the Sandow Trophy, Levrone's impact on the sport, his dedication to the craft, and his enduring popularity amongst the fans cements his status as one of bodybuilding's greatest athletes of all time. Whether he stood atop the Olympia stage or not as the first place finisher, Kevin Levrone will always be remembered as a true legend in the world of bodybuilding.